Yeah, I don't, when the when I get a spirit to speak on anything, um, I don't do what speakers do. I don't do what, and I will not conform. Not ever will I ever conform to what is societally common. I won't do what your talkers do. I won't do um, what is most common in social circles in order to manipulate this machine and have myself be heard. I won't spend that much energy or time in self aggrandizing efforts. You will not see me try to appeal to the masses by using dramatic effect and a gavel and subscribe, like me. Don't forget the like, don't forget the, yeah, that, you know what? When you listen long enough to those that are using those methods, in order to be able to attract you, what you will find is those people are being paid by those efforts. So they then have a vested interest in producing content to put in front of you in order to keep you growing and liking and subscribing and buying a hat and doing these things. So what they've done is they've become a part of a machine, right? And they're not truly a solutions provider. See, because now they are dependent upon that machine and their efforts are spent in being comfortable in that machine. They use it. So they use the dramatic effects. They got the gavel, holla black. They got come on, man. Again, I'm not putting nobody down. I'm not putting nobody's hustle down. But the fact is, it's a hustle. And what they're looking to do is they're looking to augment their own lives by talking to you. But all they're doing is talking. For if they ever gave you a solution, then the audience would be lost and they would not be able to enjoy the methods in which they've become accustomed to living. So they're selling you something. They're selling you themselves. So all of your talkers and your journalists and your politicians and the machine that says, I need to be self-aggrandizing and show you flashy things, and I need to be dramatic, and I need to be a plantation peacock in order to reach my people. I will not do. I will not conform. I will not. I'm Peter. I'll speak to you. I'll do those things and put those works into effect that I can do. I will honor my word. I will do those things that I can do, but I will not conform to what is societally common. And in many ways, it's possible that stance, I'm not infallible. It's possible that stance that I'm taking is akin to, a 75-year-old man many years ago talk about, I'm not going to be using that new telephone thing that y'all be using. Yeah, it might be. It could be. It could be that my position on that inhibits the growth of the ledge group. It is possible that the fact that I won't do that I'm not going to put on some freaking pasties, man, and try to get your attention. Like me, subscribe to me. I'm not going to do that shit, man. So the fact that I will not conform possibly has an impact relative to the growth of the ledge group now and in the past. And to that I say, fuck it. To that I say, I am not, it says, despise not the day of humble beginnings. The things that we have done, the things that I can point to that we have done, that you can go across this earth and put your hands on and see and feel that we have done, the impact that I'm able to look and see babies drinking water in places where they didn't have it before, where I can see the impact, the direct impact of what it is that we have done. I'm not dismayed at all. I am proud that we have been able to accomplish what we have. And I'm further proud that I don't have to compromise myself and become a part of a machine. So for me, in my mind, and I don't like to be, I'm not trying to be critical of those that, again, you know, they got their hustle. You know what I'm saying? They got their hustle. They gotta put content out there. They gotta catch you with the flashy. It's a hustle. It's a plantation peacock. It is the one who was flamboyant and would walk and talk loud, and they would catch your attention because they had a fast mouth and a quick eye, but they didn't suggest any solutions. They didn't suggest any solutions. All they did was strut about and teach you how to make it more comfortable in the condition that you were in. Laugh, smile, play the dozens, crack on each other, but never develop a plan, never produce a multifaceted plan to actually ever solve the problem. And this is what we see today. This is what we see today. It's 2020. Go through them. Again, I'm not trying to be critical. All I'm saying is I want you to think critically. Go through the list of absolutely every single person you hear talking and ask yourself if what they are trying to suggest, if their plan works 100% according to what they're describing, does white supremacy get stronger? And do we get free of white supremacy? Based on the end, based on the conclusion, based on the 100% effective implementation and application of their plan. At the end of it, did it make white supremacy stronger? And did it make us free of white supremacy? See, we can do all the dances in the world. We can debate and talk and do all of those different things, but there isn't a species or life form on the planet Earth that does not need water. So you can say, but, no, there is no but. There is no but. I don't care what language you speak. I don't care what country you are in. I do not care what continent you are. If you are a carbon-based life form, water is your primary prerequisite need. So everybody that's talking and going past prerequisite need in order to solve a problem common among us all is a fool. Do not listen to that man. If he does not have a plan to address prerequisite need, what is the hierarchy of needs? What is it that will keep you alive? The instruments of your oppression are those things that keep you alive. Whoever controls the essential needs that you have controls everything. So what sense does it make for your leaders who are telling you, we got to get the bag, we got to go get the money, but you're going to take the money and you're going to exchange it for the essential need? How can you not? And we listen to these talkers. We're listening to these talkers. And they, again, they sound, I'll tell you what they do. I'll tell you what happens. It is as if we were so enamored by the Bible and by the church and the way that it worked, right? Repeating, 14, 15 different scriptures and just expanding on them through our entire lives, right? This is how the church worked. It was just 14 to 15 different passages that they would speak to, right? And they would expand on those. Well, today, what you have is 14, 15 different stories or commonly used phrases that allow us to look at another man and say, oh, they're woke because they said that, right? Because they use these words. They say Malcolm X, but if you actually listen to them, they don't actually know anything. They don't demonstrate anything or any understanding of Malcolm X, but they'll say it, right? They got a great big old Martin Luther King sign, but they have no idea what that man was saying, right? It is now a cultural phenomenon for people to be woke. And so what happens is you listen to white, black, you listen to anybody, and you see and hear these buzzwords and catchphrases, anti-racist. You hear these things, and what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to create this commonality whereby we can point at it and say, that's what this thing is. But we don't really have the criteria. This is the problem. This is the problem. We never defined criteria to anything. See, if I say to you, I'm a mechanic, right? I'm going to have certifications on the wall, right? I'm going to have a shop. I'm going to have tools. I'm going to have fingers that look like kielbasa. You ever seen a mechanic, right? I'm going to have a set of criteria by which you can look at me and say, okay, you know what? That dude got tools. He got a lift. He's got certifications on the walls. He's got all these different. Yeah, that guy is a mechanic. There is a clear criteria that I can use, and I can say with certainty, this is a thing, right? This is true across every area in life. There is criteria that I use in order to be able to determine and say that this is a thing. Today, we are in a place where we have listened to a forked tongue so long that we are not able to differentiate those things from another. Right? So we can use terms like an anti-racist, but there's no criteria by which to say, okay, this is a thing. We can use terms like conscious, but there is no criteria by which we can say, yes, this is a matching and standard thing. We can't do that, right? We use the word justice, but again, we do not have a criteria by which we can say this is a standard thing. When this thing happens, and that is called justice. We've seen it used in multiple different ways, where this so-called justice allowed Trayvon Martin's murderer to go free, right? And this so-called justice allows innocent men to sit in jail for 30 years, right? So we've seen that this justice is not a static thing. It is not a thing that we can call a static element. Like we can say this is a mechanic. We can say this is a lawyer. We can say this is a doctor. They've got the criteria that we can point to, and we can say based on these things, that's what this is. But you can't say that about justice. You can't say that about equality. You can't say that about equity, inclusion, the diversity. See, these things are all ambiguous. So when you distill this and you look at your leaders and your talkers and your journalists and your politicians and you listen to the words that they're saying social justice. What does that mean? What does that mean? Social justice. If I have a granola bar and you give me social justice, what do I have when I walk out the door? I have a granola bar if I haven't eaten it. It means nothing. And we fall for this and we listen, right? We listen and we hear people use these words, right? They introduce new language into the vernacular. And we hear people use these words. And then the weakest minded of us start to use them as well. It's a buzz. They turn it. They actually control and script this. They go on the news and they say, Americans are talking about this. Americans ain't said shit about that. Ain't never even heard about it. They say Americans are talking about this as if it's a true statement. And then Americans go out and they start talking about it. The shit actually happens just like that. And they start talking about it. And then this one says it to that one. And in their little circles, they're saying it to that one and this one. And all of a sudden, it becomes a common phrase, but it has no form. It has no clear definition. It is a rabbit trail. So now, your talkers, your booksellers, your journalists, your politicians, they use these words. And what it's done, what it is being used to do is the same thing that was done in the church. You all have heard that story. You've seen it. They've pushed it. They have eliminated and removed any component of right or wrong. All it is this shapeless thing that they produced and put into your mind. So when they put it there, they say it and they can hit that chord and you'll respond to it regardless of any morality or basis in reality. You respond to that word because they installed it within you. And so your Roland Martins, your talkers will use these chords in order to strike your programming, right? And so, again, we find ourselves drawn to these plantation peacocks that have no solution. The solutions that they propose, again, in review, should we implement and execute them 100% according to their instructions, does it make white supremacy stronger? And further, does it ever have us free of white supremacy? So you tell me something. You tell me something. What man on this planet Earth can you follow whose primary goal and the full execution of his plan still has him bowing at another man's table? You tell me, what kind of a man has a plan that at the end of it, he is still begging for essential needs at another man's table? Is that the best that we can do? Why can't we be men? Why can't what they will sell you, and again, this is why I am so very critical of them, because they are worse than the most rabid of racists. These people that I speak to, your Black leaders and speakers and journalists and talkers and bloggers, and all of them are like leeches on the ass of Black America, because they are making their money from you. They're using these algorithms and these tools in order to get a shady spot on the plantation for themselves. If they solved the problem, then their money would dry up. They don't want a solution. Do you hear me? They don't want a solution, because if there was a solution, their hustle would die. Do you hear me? So none of them will tell the truth. So this is why I am more critical of them than anybody else, because this is an albatross. This is an albatross. You have the nerve not to tell the people the truth. You have the nerve to sell for 30 pieces of silver. Your people. You supposed to go hungry if you got to go hungry. And if that's the case, say you hungry and we gonna feed you. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be a part of that machine and eat off of your people and then just produce content every day so that you can stay relevant, so that they can keep paying you, so that white supremacy continues to get stronger from your efforts and you sell us and our generations out forevermore, because you're a coward. Because you need their dollars, because you value their dollars more than you value your own life. And as a result of that, you are compromised, period. Compromised. Any man with a plan that at the end of his plan, we are still dependent and subservient to another people is an enemy to us as a people, period. Go through their plans one by one. Period. You are an enemy to the people if at the end of it, we are still bowing on our knees. So what is the goal? What is it that we're supposed to do? We're supposed to identify the instruments of our oppression, and one by one diminish our dependency upon any other people on the planet Earth. What you do not hear in my words is hatred. Huh? I ain't mentioned nobody else. I'm speaking about us. Let me tell you something. What it is that you need while these people are talking. I'm telling you, what it is that you need, what was stolen from us, what was violently ripped from us, was the love of our women and our children, the respect of our women and our children, our self-respect, our self-esteem, our pride, our dignity, our responsibility and our sense of responsibility, our sense of all pride and all of the attributes that make a human being. And I promise you, you can ask, you can beg, you can cry, you can die, and no man can give those things back to you. No man. There's not enough crying or begging in the world. Nobody can give you back your dignity, black man. Nobody can give you back your self-respect. Nobody can give you back your pride. Nobody can give you these things back. What you need does not exist in the hands of another man. What you need can only live in your hands. And I promise you, you put a tool in your hands. Let your women see you with a tool in your hands. 100 of you beside me. 1,000 of you beside me with hammers in your hands, putting bricks into the wall. And I'm telling you, the look in her eye will change. She'll give you back what was lost, what was violently ripped away. See, your self-respect, you're looking for these things. You want to be prideful. So we buy sneakers, we buy their cars. We're going to buy these things, and we're going to always make white supremacy stronger in the process. They own the value system. As long as the people that own the value system that you use are benefiting from the fact that you can't define that value system for yourself, you will always lose. So we are tied to a value system that says the more money that I have, the better that I am. The more debt that I am in to white people, the better that I am. And we sell this and we believe this. And so today we are suffering under poison value system. Our women are suffering under a poison value system. Our children are suffering under a poison value system. And we can't truly value anything. That ain't your damn community. You don't own anything. You were sold. You were sold to the Arab. You were sold to the Korean. You are a transgenerationally fixed asset that they will always be able to exploit. Sal's Pizza Shop, they have done it for hundreds of years. You own nothing. That is not your community. You're a transgenerational renter. And over, generation after generation, we do the same thing. So our value system is the #1 trap that keeps us from gaining those things. So we look through the world, we want to be prideful. We want to have pride because you're human. You want to be a man. You want to be a man. Each and every one of us wants to be men. But how can you be a man when you are a transgenerational renter, when you are dependent upon another man? How can you do that? You can't be. How can you be proud when you didn't do anything? You bought a car. This man gave you a job. This man gave you the credit. This man allowed you to get it. This man is the one that's taking money from you to have it. How can you actually have pride? The only pride that you have is what they have allowed you. So you can't actually have pride. You can't actually have responsibility. You can't actually have dignity. You can't actually have self-esteem. You've got a chemically augmented, synthesized version of these things. The only place that they live are in the building. You put bricks into the wall, and your sisters, You won't even have to look. It is a chemical that will be released in the air. Your sisters will see you putting the bricks into the wall. And guess what? Slowly, what returns? It's a reciprocal relationship. Slowly, as they see you, let me tell you, your dignity comes back like a chemical in the air, straight to you, straight to your back, brother. And it'll make you strong. Just stand up at the wall and put the bricks in the wall. And I'm telling you, this is what happens. Your power, you are stifling because you're allowing these peacocks to tell you what it is that we should be doing, when the only thing that we should be doing is working, sacrificing day, night. You should hear the drum beat. You should hear the cadence of us putting bricks into our walls and building those things that we need. 24 hours a day. The pyramids were built over 20 years. There was never a stoppage of work in 20 years. Generation, this is people day and night, constantly placing a 2 to 4 ton stone every 5 minutes for 20 years. That's resolve. What we're looking to do is work a 40-hour week, and that's all I can do. Well, then you will always be another man's slave. You will always be another man's slave. There's one place where your self-respect lives. There's one place where your dignity lives, your self-esteem, your pride. There is one place that it lives, and it is not in any other man's hands on this planet Earth. It is in your hands. It is in your woman's heart. It is in her eyes. It is in her energy. It is in her spirit, which is right now suppressed because we're begging at somebody else's damn table, man. And we making it normal, and we can't see this. We can't clearly see what the problem is. And because we can't define what the problem is, and we can't define the instruments of our oppression, therefore, any attack vector that we choose is necessarily wrong. We think build wealth. Well, build wealth makes white people wealthy. What the fuck? Is this hard to understand? You build wealth, you make them wealthier. They own your babies. You think you did something. You get comfortable for now, but your babies will still be trapped in hell. It is not a solution. If at the end of that solution, it does not answer those two questions, did it make white supremacy stronger? And did it make us free of white supremacy? Then it is not an answer. The answer, again, falls within the hierarchy of needs. Very simply. Every species on the planet has a hierarchy of needs, and they are all common among us. So your talkers don't tell you this. They're not giving you solutions. Yes, there is a hierarchy of needs. No, this is not subjective. It is not because Peter said it. You, 100% of you, need water. Doesn't matter if you are a worm. Doesn't matter if you're a journalist or a bookseller or a leader. It does not matter. You need water. You need food. You need shelter. You need health care. So, black man, what is the answer? What is the answer? The answer is you begin to design your medical complexes. You engage your architects. You engage those skilled and able to build those things. You attain land. You then begin to break ground, and you begin to put bricks into the walls of your medical center. You begin to dig wells all over the world. You begin to deploy filtration and bottling facilities all over the world. You begin to deploy agricultural efforts all over the world. You begin to deploy alternative energy engineering solutions all over the world. You begin to take bites out of dependency one at a time. And every single effort that you put in place is supposed to roll up to a global effort which ends in a solution which does not make white supremacy stronger and makes us free of white dependency, right? And this is if it's my words, if those things that I just said right now can be disputed by any one of these illustrious talkers, please, please, I entertain it at any time, anytime. You can holler at me, right? You can find me. My email address is pbrown@theledgegroup.com. You feeling some type of way? Yeah, look, you feeling something, your chest swell up, you know what I mean? Do that. Reach out to me. If I'm wrong, I will admit it. I was wrong the other day. I thought parsnips was white people food. They're delicious. I admitted it. So I'm not a proud man. I could be wrong. But if I am not wrong, then a plan that maintains our position where we are at bowed knee and bent head to another people is not an answer. You look back at your own father. If you can't see him, look back at his father. Look back 10 generations at the people in your family looking in your eyes, and you tell me that looking back at them, the answer that you fall upon is to continue to beg, to be on your knees. You want your woman to look at you as what? But you are content with being on your knees to another man and taking no steps to diminish that dependency, only finding new ways to get comfortable under it. That doesn't serve your children. That makes you temporarily comfortable. That gives you 15 minutes of shade on the plantation, and it does not solve the problem. Is that me, my interpretation of what this is, or is that the fact, right? I can only, again, as I said, I'm not going to do what your talkers do. I am not going to ask you to subscribe to me. I don't think that anything that I have to say is so very revolutionary. This isn't sagely advice. This is all basic information. It's in front of you. I simply articulate it. So I'm not going to do what they do. I will not conform. You know who I am. I will say what it is that I need to say when I need to say it, and I'm going to just, dip off. Either you pick that up or you don't. Or you don't. What the Ledge Group does is 100% of what I have said. You have seen 100% of what we have done. Through a pandemic, we built 20 wells. Through a pandemic, we're open real retail locations, MMA gyms, all over the world. Into 2021, we're speaking about EMS services and the ability to produce low-cost, high-quality prosthetic devices on the continent. We've got goals. Man, look, you know what? I might not make it all the way back to Sirius, but I'm gonna land in the stars, see? So I don't have the audacity to think small. Yeah, I want prosthetic devices produced by us for us. Yes, I do. So I put that out there, man. I'm not scared. Somebody gonna come back later on and say, well, he said he wanted to make the prosthetic device. I swear to God, it's gonna happen. And I'm just gonna point back and say, remember, I said that you was gonna be here. So I don't have the audacity to think small. I believe we can do it all. I believe in us. I believe in us. So much so that, again, for 10 years, another difference. Again, I'll shout it out. I ain't scared. Another difference between us, the Ledge Group, and your talkers and your talk show hosts and your booksellers and all the rest of that. They're paid from sitting up there. See, don't call yourself a solution provider if you're a hoe, right? If you're a hoe, just say you're a hoe. This is the 2021. It's okay. You can be a hoe. I'm not judging that. You can be a hoe, right? That's fine. We all, everybody, but don't call yourself a solution provider, okay? Because what you're doing is you're selling yourself, right? And you're taking money for that. We don't take money. The Ledge Group ain't never took a dime. We ain't never made one single penny. I'm the worst CEO in the planet Earth. We have never made a single dime. We work for us. We pay bills, huh? That's why we're still here. That's why we can make the progress that we do. I don't have to conform, right? I don't have to do those things. I don't. And guess what? I measure progress in a whole different way than everybody else does. When I see 1,000 babies with water, right? Yeah, that's what I call success, not a car that put me in debt to white people. No, that doesn't equate to success for me, right? And so again, a value system that is owned by another man who benefits from the fact that you can't define it for yourself is always going to cause you to lose. So I have a different value system. My goal, the goal of the Ledge Group, is to produce freedom. And to produce freedom, you have to attack the instruments of your dependence. And those instruments are common among every species on the planet Earth. This might be my saying, I'm dragging me. Maybe this is because I'm saying it, right? Again, we've kind of gone through it, and I would encourage you to listen to it again. And if I'm wrong in any area, if this is subjective at any point, please say that. If anything that I'm saying to you is subjective and it is my perspective, please highlight that. I will retract publicly. I'll do it on video. I'm not proud. I will retract it. But if it is true, then there is one place for us to regain those things that we need. And that is through our work. You've seen it. We break ground. We're all over the planet Earth doing those things. We have proven that it can be done. Link up. Find us. The Grand Rising Room on Facebook. You know who I am. Link up. And we build. Otherwise, look, I love you. I appreciate you. I believe that each and every one of us has something to contribute, and we need it. I'm lacking what you have. You're not giving it to me because this world has a different value system. So you think that you need to be able to sell it to me. I need to pay you in order for you to give me the gift that you have for me. And so I understand that. I give you mine freely. I'm going to give it, and I'm going to hope it inspires you to give me back, right? But I get that. I understand that we are all in that mode. I suggest that to fix this, we have to shift that a bit. We have to get to each other, give to each other. So anyway, again, reach out, find me through any means, right? Find me through any means, and we'll connect. We get to building. If you are not, and again, that was the point. I'm not interested in intellectual jousts, right? And peacock struts. I love you. You don't, I'm telling you, you are my superior in that you have something to teach me. I am ignorant of something. You are my superior in that you have something to teach me. I'm open to that. I want that. But first, we need to solve water, okay? First, we need to solve food, healthcare. We need to secure our women and our babies. They can't be on the battlefield. We need to do very specific things. So I'm not interested in peacock struts, man. I'm not interested in exchanging conversations and ideas and philosophies. And no, I don't know. We can do that once we have a soft drop. Right now, we don't. We're 400 years behind in enemy territory. We don't have a soft drop. It's not time to pontificate, man. It's not time. So it is not disrespect. It is not arrogance that says to me, that has me say to you, I'm not interested in just, showing how conscious we are and patting each other on the back for being conscious. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in building bricks, man. I'm interested in putting the work in. So please, if you come to me, please come to me ready to work, man. I got tools and I got an extra tool. We can get this thing cracking. We've been doing it. You see it. So again, it is not that I speak as if I am an island. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is the path forward is clear. Food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, security, sanitation, education. You ready to do something? Then reach out to me. If you're not, if you still believe that there's another way for us, that there's something else that solves our problem, then again, go in peace. We putting bricks into these walls, man. All right. So again, I'd love to see you at the wall with us.